there, welcome to the latest and greatest Aviana vlog. Today we are just north of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm working on a meridian. You might say, you always work on meridians. Maybe because I'm really good at working on meridians. You might say, don't you get bored of working on meridians? I would say, there's a certain pleasure in doing something common exceedingly well. So this meridian is a nice model meridian. It's a little bit newer. Like all meridians, we have the PT6 turboprop pumping out copious amounts of exhaust, which is staining the side of the aircraft and oxidizing the paint. That's why we do paint correction. Like most meridians, not all meridians, it has vortex generators here, which will make my life a little bit more complicated polishing here, but we can manage with that. Because it flies quite high, there's a decent amount of UV oxidation happening on the top sides of the fuselage, so that's going to have to be addressed. The taxi light lenses are dull and faded. We can restore that quite well, but there's a few things I'm going to show you here. So here you can see some of that exhaust stream, right? And this is after cleaning, so that makes a big difference, but the paint is quite dull. Like, I'm trying to get an overhead light reflection in there. You can see how yellow that is. So that's UV oxidation, or just general exhaust oxidation. You wouldn't see a lot of exhaust up there. Usually the exhaust stream comes down here. Down here, this is the dirtiest spot on a meridian. We have more vortex generators. Yay me. And we have a lot of exhaust. For some reason, for some aerodynamic reason, which sounds smarter, this part just gets more exhaust than the right side. So if we go look at the right side, it's pretty much clean. This side, filthy. So on today's episode, I'm going to focus a little bit more on how to clean these things. So we usually focus more on paint correction and ceramic coating. Today we're going to talk about cleaning and cleaning your turboprop that's not coated yet. And kind of the base cleaning liquid that I like to use and use a lot of is Optimum No Rinse. You've heard me talk about this quite a bit probably. This is Optimum No Rinse. You find it on Amazon. Get the 32-ounce bottle. Don't get this little 8-ounce bottle. And I dilute this 1 to 20 with some water in a spray bottle. Okay? So that's kind of home base for cleaning. Then I also like to use G-Technic W5. This is a citrus-based cleaner. It smells nice. It's not super aggressive, but it definitely does the job. Now the other thing that I would recommend, so usually we use citrus at a 1 to 10 dilution on a coated aircraft. On a non-coated aircraft, you can use it at that dilution as well. I usually use it straight. You end up using a little bit more product, but you get some good results a little bit faster. The important thing is that if you use the citrus cleaner, you want to follow it up with the no rinse to remove that soapy residue. So the soap is not, soap just is kind of sticky, and your plane gets dirty faster if you leave all that soap residue on there. So that's why we follow it up with no rinse. The other thing that I like to use is this foamer. So you might say, that looks a suspicious amount like a Target hand soap dispenser. Well, it is, because a foaming soap dispenser at Target is $10. This bottle of soap with a foaming head on it is like $3. So dump out the soap or wash your hands a lot if you don't want to waste the soap, and put your citrus cleaner in here. So what this does, this produces a nice kind of foaming mix. You can see that? Then the other thing I like to use is an electric toothbrush. When you use this, you want to use these because things tend to splatter. So we take a towel, take the foamer, okay? Look at that. Now you can start wiping this way, or take this little gadget, get some on there, and now we can go clean some dirty things. Like, let's look up here, get the foam in. Then we take a microfiber towel and wipe it off. Pretty cool, huh? After we do that, no rinse over it again, but first I like to clean the whole plane, then go over it with no rinse. So I kind of do it one step at a time. The other way you would use the foam with this towel, kind of get a line of it on there, go up and get it applied on there. Why would you do it this way versus the other way where I spray some no rinse on, put some soap on? Well, if we do it that way, which we can, so no rinse, spray that on, take some citrus, so that works pretty well too. However, when you're going to be working on this floor, when you spray stuff up, it falls down and gets the floor wet. So both of those ways work. It's just kind of up to you what you want to do. The foam is cool. It's a little bit drier. You can then use a clean towel with no rinse in it to get the soap residue off. For the fuselage, so the parts that aren't necessarily exhaust dirty, where you just want to get the bugs and that kind of stuff off, we would again use the no rinse. Do it up here so you can see it a little better. Just spray some on and then use a microfiber towel and kind of set up a nice pattern. So you see how I'm not working like this in circles. I'm going in a nice straight pattern. So this will not only minimize chances of scratching. If you do scratch, it'll be a less noticeable scratch. It's also very systematic. So by going this way, I don't have any missed spots. If I go like this, usually like here you have little triangles where you haven't washed anything. So kind of do that initial wipe, get all the dirt off, whatever's making your plane dirty. Use the dry side of the towel or use a dry towel and go over it again and kind of get the excess liquid off. And that's it, really. I mean, it's very simple. You can cover a pretty large area quickly. If you had a lot of exhaust, like we do up here, you may find that the no rinse is not adequate. So spray some no rinse on there. And this is a really good microfiber towel because it's got pretty short pile hairs. So it's going to be a little bit grabbier, but it's not, I mean, it's getting some stuff off. You can see there's still exhaust residue there. So if that doesn't work, you can see like up to here it's lighter but it's still dirty. We'd go back, get our citrus, get some foam on there. Foam looks cool. There we go. And now, when we go over it with the citrus, it will kind of eat away that exhaust a lot better. Okay, so you can see nice difference between there and there. Now, part of that staining is actually embedded into the paint. So it's something that paint correction is going to have to remove. You can use all the exotic soot removers you want. You just need to get it out of the paint. So that's not a chemical problem. It's a mechanical problem. So paint correction is going to fix that. Some of the other areas on the Meridian, we have the de-icing boots, right? No rinse is safe to use on here. Don't use the citrus cleaner on here. because if you have your boots dressed up, the citrus cleaner can remove that shiny coating. Around the vortex generators, you just want to be careful and kind of work in straight lines along the direction of the offending vortex generator, like that. And other than that, pretty straightforward. So generally the whites kind of up there just get no rinsed. This will get citrus cleaned and no rinse. This inboard section will get citrus cleaned and no rinse. And the rest of the wings generally will clean up with just no rinse solution. Now, if you had a lot of bugs in the front, we would take the no rinse, spray it on, wipe it off. Whatever doesn't come off, spray it again. This time, let it soak. The bugs drying up are really hard to remove, and you can scrub really, really hard, but that'll just cause scratches. So our recommendation is just spray the bugs, let them soak, and gently try it again. If that doesn't work, you can always spritz them with a little bit of citrus cleaner and try and kind of chemically dissolve them at that. But just try no rinse first. Generally, that'll do the job, especially if the plane is coated. Last but not least, the underside. So Meridians tend to have a little streak of turbine oil, and as we've talked about, turbine oil likes to turn orange when it comes in contact with moisture. That orange eventually will stain your paint, so there's a definite incentive to get that off. Now down here we got a nice little streak of it. See that right there? What do you think we should use on here? You think no rinse will do the job? Let's try it. Spray some no rinse, take our microfiber towel, and look at that. It actually does the job. The reason this works is because no rinse is basically all these little polymers that like to surround things, and in this case it surrounds the oil molecules, and really the microfiber is doing the heavy work here. If this wasn't coming off as well, or like it still felt oily, then of course we can use a little bit of citrus. So if we go get the citrus pump, get ourselves a little line of citrus cleaner, wipe that in. Follow up with no rinse, and wipe it off. So that's kind of the quick 5-minute overview of how I like to wash Meridians. It's like 10:30, so I'm gonna start paint correcting, but I want to tell you a little story. I'm not getting paid to advertise this, but this mask, the RZ mask I was talking about, has a little carbon filter in it. Carbon traps larger organic compounds like alcohol, fuel, that kind of stuff. This plane is leaking just a little bit of jet fuel, and I cannot smell the jet fuel at all with this on. It's amazing. Furthermore, like the exhaust that comes out of here, which is burnt jet fuel essentially, also smells quite strong and kind of gives you a headache after a while. But with the carbon filter, no such issues. So it really just comes to show that you got the right equipment for the job goes easier. Anyway, plane is washed. I'm going to start polishing. I'm going to start with the fuselage. So we're gonna start with the fuselage, see what the one step's doing. I really think it needs a two-step, but sometimes I surprise myself, so. Good morning. So this is the first full day. This Saturday, came in yesterday. Got the airplane washed yesterday. Started paint correction on the aft end of the fuselage on both sides. Today's plan is to hopefully finish paint correction and then start coating. I just got in waiting for these lights to fully turn on, so there's kind of some weird colors going on. So see how that's kind of dirty looking, even though I cleaned it. See how much brighter that is? So that's paint corrected on this side. Paint correction is done. It is 1:30 a.m., but paint correction is done, which is usually the goal I set for Saturdays. I never meet that goal, except for today, so that's exciting. Tomorrow morning, whenever I decide to get up here, we're gonna do paint touch-up, then we're gonna start wipe down, and then we're gonna start coating. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, paint correction, it's going well. Bread and butter, Meridian job. Airplane is done. So I started this morning panel wiping everything. There's a few areas where I noticed some hologramming, so I ended up repolishing those. You don't see that hologramming until after your panel wipe because the polish oils tend to cover that kind of stuff up. So very important to do a follow-up inspection. Everything got coated, so now I'm just going to clean up, show the owner how to take care of it, get some beauty shots, and actually go home tomorrow morning, so I don't have to like rush to the airport, which is kind of cool. But yeah, happy to be done. I'm actually going to get a decent amount of sleep, and we'll catch you on the next episode. I'm not even sure what we're doing next, but subscribe and you won't miss out. Have a good one. Bye.